Quit resisting.
You're about to get sprayed. If you don't stop, you're going to get sprayed.
I'm not.
Hello ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In today's video I'm going to be reacting to a First Amendment audit that one of my subscribers sent me. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I answer the question, do I think any constitutional rights have been violated? My job is to provide objective analysis and education, so for anybody watching, you might be able to help yourself if you ever find yourself in a sticky situation with the law. Okay, let's jump right into it.
How's it going, man?
All right.
Oh, you stay out here?
No, I'm thing it came loose. I'm waiting on the dude to come fix it. To put it in reverse.
All right. So the guy that
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him. I know she probably called y'all.
where'd he stay at?
Okay, so real quick, let me just set the stage. We don't know why the police officer is engaging in this man, but if you're out in public, police can come up and talk to you at any time for any reason. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to engage with them. However, they can't detain you unless they have reasonable suspicion that a crime is at foot. Reasonable suspicion is defined as a hunch plus something more, something objective that a crime is taking place. This is a relatively low standard. Once the police have reasonable suspicion that you have committed a crime, they are free to temporarily detain you. Detaining is defined as when an objective person feels that they aren't free to leave. And finally, police can only arrest you when they have probable cause that you have committed a crime. Probable cause is a very high standard, relatively speaking. So we don't know why the police have interacted with this man at this point. Certainly they don't have probable cause to arrest him. Objectively, from what we know, I don't even think they have reasonable suspicion. And certainly I feel like the man feels like he's not detained at this moment. He's just engaging with the police, and a reasonable person would think they're free to leave at this very moment. But let's keep watching.
We coming off on about South.
Why y'all meeting here?
Oh, cause I can't put it in reverse. My girl shit thing.
Okay. What brought you here, though? You say you don't stay here. What brought you over here?
Oh, I came to pick up my little cousin, and when I went to try to put it in reverse, it wouldn't go in reverse.
Okay.
So this is it. So he finna come.
Your little cousin? Is it her?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd she stay at?
Oh, she was in the front.
She was in the front? Okay. You don't have any weapons or anything like that on you, do you?
No.
Keep your hands up over here. Put your hand up there.
Hold on.
Okay, so right now I think things have drastically changed. The second officer appeared on the other side of the car, certainly constituting detention. A reasonable person would not feel like they're free to leave when they're surrounded by the police. Additionally, the police officer asked to frisk this citizen, and when police officers ask to frisk someone, that is something called a Terry frisk, which they pat down an individual to make sure they don't have any weapons to ensure officer safety. However, officers are only allowed to do this once they have reasonable suspicion. And right now, I don't see why they have reasonable suspicion. So if I'm this gentleman, I'm absolutely denying this Terry frisk. And I think to this point, he's done a good job of being respectful to the police, talking with them, being courteous, not making any sudden movements, giving them their space. Yeah, I think he's doing a good job. Let's keep watching.
Hold on.
Don't.
Just
Just
make sure show that you don't have any weapons.
No, I ain't got no weapons.
All right. I can see something bulging over there. Just making sure. Don't reach in your pockets or anything like that. What's your name? What's your name?
No, this is uncalled for.
No. We get a call on you. We got to ID you.
Okay, so what that officer said is wrong. If they get a call on someone, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to ID you. Texas, we do have a failure to ID statute. However, that is only for people who are under a lawful arrest. There's a huge difference between being arrested and being detained. When you're detained by the police, you don't have to identify yourself, but you also can't provide any false information. Here, this gentleman is not providing any false information. He's just not providing his name, which he has every right to do so. So that officer was lying to him.
What's your name?
I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Is this your property?
Why don't you want to give us your name?
Because I'm not
got
doing
some tickets or something?
I'm not doing nothing wrong.
We're just responding to a call from citizens that said there was some problems over here.
Oh, it's not no problem. As you can see, it's not a problem.
Okay.
I'm not causing any problems. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not hooping and hollering. I'm not causing any problems. I'm not doing none of that. So
Well,
I'm
the
waiting.
officer needs your name for his report. Is there a problem with that? Are you wanted for something? Are you a fugitive from justice?
She's not really young.
You have a child in the car with you?
We're here to check welfare on the child. You have the right to find out who the people are that are involved.
It's not that going on. Somebody involved. What is? I mean,
You're involved.
Is there a reason why you don't want to give your name?
huh?
Why don't you want to give your name, man? I mean,
Doesn't matter why.
Take you 5 minutes to get out.
So we can go. You give us
I
a
just
name, we can get out of here.
told you.
Okay.
We have to identify everybody we come in
I
contact
have not
with.
committed a crime, sir. It's not a
We
crime. It's not an
accuse you of
offense. It's not
We
nothing
had-
going on.
We had a call concerning you being in this vehicle and possibly being intoxicated.
Okay.
So right now you're detained. You're being
Okay, so that was really important what that police officer just said. He said that they got a call with respect to him being in that particular vehicle, potentially being intoxicated. In my mind, that absolutely gives the police reasonable suspicion to temporarily detain this gentleman. However, keep in mind what he said. They got detained because of potential intoxication. The scope of a Terry stop is for the purpose of either corroborating or denying or getting rid of any suspicion that a crime has occurred. And just by talking with this man, he is clearly not intoxicated. So yes, while the police could very well have detained him and talked to him for a little bit, I certainly think that time is almost to an end where it starts to become unreasonable. He is clearly not intoxicated. Let's just see what happens.
Come on. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
So
No, sir.
as far as
There's
that goes,
no.
you have to give us your name or you go to jail for failed ID.
That's a lie. That's why it makes me so upset when police officers lie. I don't know if, and maybe I shouldn't say lying. Maybe a gross just a knowledge of the law. They need to have knowledge of the law. You don't go to jail in Texas for failing to ID when you're detained. Only if you, 1, provided false information to a police officer, or 2, you're being lawfully arrested. Then you have to provide your real identification. This police officer is either lying to try to intimidate him or just does not know the law.
That's where we're at right now. Okay?
I
If you
wanna
were
check
walking
and
on the
make sure.
sidewalk or something, that's one
I
thing.
have some tickets.
Okay, well, we're not worried about some tickets, man. Class C tickets, traffic stuff? We're not worried about that. What's your name? There's a few Class C tickets that cost you 30, 40 minutes in the jail. There's a whole lot different than a failed ID fugitive charge, which is a misdemeanor A.
I'm not doing it wrong. So if
So
I mean,
do you want a
under-
misdemeanor A charge or you want some traffic ticket charges? Because we're not worried about traffic tickets. We just need to identify you so we can do this investigation and get out of here.
what are you investigating? Investigation
You call
is.
for a service that has got 4 officers
You,
here
you,
now.
you already admitted that you don't have any reason being here other than your car's
and
not
you're
working.
parked
I mean,
up here
I'm
If
not
somebody
committing
else
a
is-
crime. Officer,
Okay.
you get called when there's
Possibly
a
intoxicated.
crime. How am I
So,
possibly?
now we're
Come
looking
on.
at a PI charge.
No, sir. No, sir. How can I be
Okay.
Why do you not want to
intoxicated?
cooperate?
See, here's the problem. Now they're threatening him with a public intoxication charge. He's clearly not intoxicated. The reason why they're doing this is because I think that they know that they're grasping for straws at this point. Or they have to try to push something that is flagrantly wrong. That is the underlying failure to ID narrative. Let's keep going.
What is the big deal about not saying your name?
I'm gonna do the
What
pat.
is
I mean,
Because he wouldn't let me do the pattern.
Okay.
I want to make sure you don't have any weapons on you. Don't reach for
sir,
anything.
hold on.
Okay, so now they're trying to Terry frisk him. being Terry stop does not necessarily give way to a Terry frisk. As I said before, you're allowed to stop someone, detain them temporarily if you have reasonable suspicion that a crime is afoot. However, you don't have necessarily the right to pat them down. While a Terry frisk is used to protect officers, and it is a cursory pat down of officers for people who might be armed or dangerous, that is clearly not the case here. This gentleman has been very respectful, no sudden movements, he's been keeping his distance, he hasn't said anything derogatory towards the police officers. I absolutely think that this frisk is a violation of his rights, and if this frisk were to yield anything, which I don't know yet, it would absolutely be inadmissible because you can't frisk someone who you're not allowed to. Let's keep going.
Don't resist.
How am I resisting?
You're resisting a search.
I'm not resisting. I'm not doing nothing.
Just put your hands behind.
Man, I am not doing nothing.
Don't say you were.
So while it is a crime to resist a search, it has to be a lawful search. So his underlying assertion is that this is not a lawful search, and I tend to agree with him.
I'm not doing nothing, man.
Charge.
I am not doing nothing.
Hey.
I'm not doing nothing.
We were just gonna pat
I'm
you
not
down
doing
for weapons,
nothing.
man.
Now-
I just, he just asked me for some weapons.
Well, now you're under arrest.
Raise
your shirt.
Man,
you had a bulge in your pocket.
Dude, you just stood up here and said that you sit up here and see now, and then I have no weapons on me, man. Man, come on, man. I'm not doing nothing, dude. Man, stop it, man. I'm not doing nothing.
No reason.
I'm not doing. I'm not doing.
Quit
nothing.
resisting.
I'm on.
Quit resisting.
You're about to get sprayed. If you don't stop,
on, man.
if you don't stop, you're gonna get sprayed.
I'm not doing.
You're about to get sprayed.
You're doing something now.
No,
You
I'm not.
Stop.
You're about to
Stop. You get it?
You're under arrest, man.
Under arrest for what?
For resisting search.
Man, you just. I did not do nothing.
Okay, he's under arrest for resisting search. However, this search was unlawful.
Just follow the officer's
Man, come
Why are you
on,
acting
man.
like this? Come on.
Man, I did not do nothing, man. This is bad.
Oh yeah. Somebody watching that person.
Oh my God, I did not do nothing. I did not do nothing. I did not do nothing.
Just wait.
Go around the car.
God, I did not do nothing.
Go around to the car.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, so we're gonna stop here. Presumably this gentleman was arrested. Let's go through the progression again. The police likely had reasonable suspicion to temporarily detain this gentleman. Rightfully so. They had corroborating evidence from a phone call, which I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say was real. Once they temporarily detained him, their scope of their detainment was to ascertain either corroborating evidence that he was intoxicated or not. Clearly, by talking with him, they found out that he's not intoxicated. He was very coherent, he was responsive, he was respectful, no sudden movements. I thought he did a fantastic job. Now, the police tried to push this narrative that he had to ID himself. However, that is not true because he was not arrested at the time of this happening. And even after this whole thing has happened, he was not lawfully arrested to begin with. So the failure to ID narrative is just plain false. Additionally, with respect to refusing the search, the police officers had no reason to search him. He was not objectively dangerous in any way. He even lifted up his shirt at one point to show the officers that he had no weapons on him. Again, he made no violent movements, nothing. So just because a police officer detained you does not give them the right to search you. I think this man, his rights were clearly violated. I think the police definitely overstepped their boundaries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Send me any videos that you want me to provide legal analysis for. I'd be happy to do it. Thanks again for watching, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I rest my case.